I'm excited if that does happen to me because I get to listen to a story and I have a ton of questions to ask you about it.
Okay,
so
cool.
if you're ready to start, I'm down.
I'm ready to start.
Let's just go straight into it.
Okay,
so my biggest question coming on,
how are you filming now?
Oh,
okay.
But, so
you'll edit this out.
Okay, perfect. So the first few minutes that we just did, that's all going in the trash.
Okay, cool.
You know what I mean? But
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're starting.
Sure. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this.
Cheers. Thank you for letting me come on.
Thank you.
Or come over to have you come on. You know what I mean?
I actually was a teller at a bank, but I am definitely a teller. I like to talk a lot.
My biggest question for you, Ivy.
Can I just have this like this so I can feel?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Just do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm like kind of camera shy.
I feel you. Yeah. No, that's the thing. My biggest question for you is, and I've always wondered this my entire life, but there's a large part of the population who wait until marriage to have sex. And yes. I'm stoked that you came on to do an interview because you are from Mormon heritage.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm stoked to kind of hear more of why, because in my minds and like my eyes, I can only see having sex and having multiple partners before marriage as like pretty much being very beneficial.
Exactly.
And I wonder why people like kind of like disregard that and throw that off as something that should not be happening and you will get punished if you do that. But in reality, like sex feels good. Like you need to have sex and you need to experience it and, you know, fucking not have one person in bed like your whole life.
Well, there's like...
You know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean.
And you ran away from the...
Well, what I did... So I... First of all, I'm Mormon. I was Mormon. I don't think I'm an atheist. Maybe I'm agnostic. Like, I more am like, I don't know that there is or is not a God. And we have to talk about God if we're going to talk about Mormonism and sex. There's just no, which ironically, the two are just so linked because the Mormon God wants the female and the male, wants them to preserve themselves until marriage for any sex, any intercourse, or any like making out, petting, like all of it. I know if the word petting, people are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what petting is?
Just like petting them?
No.
Oh, okay. Like touching them?
Petting? No. Petting in the... Oh my God. I'm laughing and cannot believe this. Petting in the Mormon church is like, under the shirt, under the pants, and like, I'm blushing, but it's like fingering and touching each other's private parts. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's what petting is?
Well,
and they say
heavy petting would be where you're actually making some contact with the southern region. That would be heavy petting.
With your upper body or your lower body?
If I'm pretty sure that if you're...
Because you can kind of...
Feeling the boobs, you know, that's petting. So we're going to say... And any Mormons can jump on and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to say that petting is the waist up and heavy petting is the waist down. That's what I'm going to say. So there are different kinds of discipline for petting and heavy petting. And then there's of course intercourse. There was, when I was growing up, you like even anal is not... You can't do, no, and not oral either. That's sex. Like I know we still, like Bill Clinton defined that for us. But yeah, like oral that's still sex. And so I'll start with, this is a great little story. And I don't know if it's changed. I left the Mormon church when I was 32. it actually, to be just really vulnerable and honest, I actually started my journey leaving when I started my recovery from sex abuse, like serious sex abuse. And that's I'm super comfortable talking about that. But that's how I started leaving. And you can't talk about Mormons and sex before marriage unless you talk about sex abuse, because that's really the context of a big part of what goes on. So I know you just got super serious. So we'll talk about the fun stuff. If you have sex before you're married, it's a sin. So Mormons get married in a temple. You've heard of Mormon temples?
Wait, really fast.
Yeah.
So you were being like sexually abused in the Mormon culture? Or was that
well, yes, because my family is Mormon, and Utah has, I think, the second highest rate of child sexual abuse in the nation.
Damn.
And it's like second only to one other city, and it's like every other city under it is like 27% lower. Like, don't quote me on the statistics, but I think you could Google it. And like Utah has one of the highest rates of child sexual abuse.
Do you think it's because people are waiting so long to have sex, and then there's like they weren't practicing it at like a young age, so then they become like adults and they just like don't know what the fuck to do with themselves?
No, I think sex is made to be shameful. And if it isn't made to be shameful, then it's made to be godly. So then sex is a godly act that God grants you the permission to do when you're married. So they don't really tell you don't really grow up learning that sex feels good. It's kind of more hush hush. Like, obviously we know sex feels good, but you have a whole generation of people like myself. Like I said, I'm 50 and I haven't been in since I was 32. But that recovery from that beginning journey of recovering from sexual abuse, and the way that I was taught to believe about sex, it doesn't even matter that they try to make it a goal to be proud of to not have sex before you're married. Like, it's not even you can't just take and have the pride of that, because if you don't do it, you can't be married in the temple, which is a huge goal. So you can't be married there. You have to be married in the church house. You can work your way back to worthiness to be able to go and be sealed in the temple. So they believe that the person you marry, you're going to be married to in heaven too. So you have to kind of go back to the origins as well, because they believe that Jesus is the God of this earth. Like, there's God, then there's Jesus, and then he came to this earth, and then all the people who are Mormons are going to be gods of another earth if they were worthy enough, if they lived worthy enough. And one of those ways that you are worthy enough is to not have sexual intercourse before marriage. So it's not like it's a serious thing.
You just explained something like deep that no one's ever explained to me before.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I didn't know. That's some heavy shit.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so.
Yeah, so. Mormonism. Woo!
Because that's honestly like believing in that. And for who knows, like, they're probably right. Like, there is probably another thing past Earth when we die that we hopefully go to. That'd be interesting. But the thing is, it's also a really big risk and a sacrifice to completely believe in that, because Absolutely. Now you're preventing yourself that's like here right now in the now, currently like alive and living. You're preventing that self from doing a lot of things. Like,
Absolutely.
For example, sex. And sex is like just one of those things. It's like it's your body, and you need to, it's just important to be like in tune with that. So sacrificing all of that just to like hopefully when you die to go somewhere else that's where we can't even like fathom or like touch it or quantify or anything like that. Like that's a really big sacrifice. So like in a lot of ways, I have a ton of respect for you guys and religious people that don't do that type of thing. That's a cool
perspective.
You know what I mean? Like it's honestly like,
no, that's kind of part of what I
couldn't do that shit.
Right.
There's no way I could do that shit.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I like being around you so much, is that you can't do that shit, and you are just so down to earth and so honest. And I'm not saying that in a crazy way, but I can feel that you don't have that judgment and shame.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You don't have it at all. Like for even at work, and if it's super busy and things are, crazy, you have a positive spin on it. So I did a kind of a cool thing when I went into therapy for recovery from sex abuse. Still in recovery. Just it's always layers. It's always layers. Because when I was recovering at 28, when I started, I was a 28-year-old Ivy recovering from sex abuse, and now I'm a 50-year-old Ivy recovering from sex abuse, and there are different side effects of that kind of behavior, and different side effects from being taught that sex is shameful. Mormons would argue that they don't teach that sex is shameful, and I would argue that it is, absolutely. When I was 13, when young Mormon kids turn to 12, they go into the next level of Sunday school. You've heard of Sunday school, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
So they go to the next level of Sunday school. And in the next level is 12 to 18, and this is your maturation. This is like the biggest prime. This is when they need to make the best impression, and there's a lot of pressure put on Mormon kids for a high standard of behaving, and a lot of rules and regulations, and a lot of shame.
You're good. Sorry.
You were fine. Do I?
Yeah, no, you can keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of, they're raised with a lot of shame around it. And so when they believe that Jesus Christ died for their sins, and so forgiveness is possible for every sin. I think maybe not murder, but I don't know, or suicide. I think that's not forgivable in their dogma. So when what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about like sex shaming.
Yes, sex shaming. So if we taught kids when my babies come out and they find their nose, and we're like, yay, you found your nose, and we tell everybody to do nose, and that's like super cool. But when your little boy or girl finds their genitals and they're like, look at this business, like, look what this can do, we're like, oh, that's private. We don't show that. We don't, like, we culturally set ourselves up for sexual abuse by making the genitals something different than the nose.
I see what you're saying.
That's really deep, but just think about that. Like, why? Why?
There needs to be more exposure, which would give everybody just more knowledge on the subject.
Well, and you lose control of people when they have self-satisfying ability. And so Mormons aren't taught just not to have sex before marriage. They're also taught not to masturbate.
Are you serious?
Fucking.
There's no way.
I'm sorry, but that deserves a fuck. No, I'm absolutely serious. Absolutely dead serious.
Can they make it that long? There's no way.
I would have no way of knowing.
No way.
But I can tell you, like, I can tell you that I'm guilty myself of some element of shame
Pleasure.
shame toward my own children for raising them.
Damn. Okay.
So I have quite a few, and I left when my youngest baby was about 4 years old. Oh, we should talk about my evolution into the using of THC as a medication at some point. But back to teen sex. So yes, no masturbation, and I am guilty of actually believing that and teaching my kids the first couple batch till I learned more about it. And also, I'm just going to come out and blatantly say it until I actually. My therapist. I won't reveal his name, but he actually was a Mormon and he was a bishop, and he actually instructed me to begin masturbation with myself, and I was 28 years old. Probably closer to 30 by this time.
Well, wait, hold on. Okay, I had so many questions. Wait, so you were teaching your kids this, just the first one, or all the way up until the last kid?
No, I stopped. I actually eventually became the mom that would be like, okay, you're such and such an age. It's time to go, let's go check out vibrators, and, here's plenty of conditioner in there in that shower, and mayonnaise in the fridge, and, banana peel, like whatever, whatever floats your boat. In fact, one of my kids, their brother gave them a bottle of Jergens lotion and changed the name to Jerkins for their birthday. Jerkins lotion.
So you guys went full direction.
Yeah.
Instead of going, okay, don't do this until you're 28.
Oh my God.
Now,
did I go
this.
full 180? Yes, I did. I actually, in fact, I learned something phenomenal about myself during the course of my recovery. Here's the irony. Sexually abused from my first memory at age 5, pregnant at age 14, also sexually abused, pregnant again at age 15, also sexual abuse. Okay, so you see how this is going? So 14-year-old, 15-year-old taught her whole life, don't have sex before marriage. So can you imagine the shame that I have believed about myself? And up until I got help in therapy, I had to learn sexual abuse changes the way that you live your life. It changes, and you're really violating children. And back then, Mormons just I was married when I was 15. My mom was married at 15 as well. My mom had, I think she said she had 8 kids by the time she was 26 or 27. I had 7 by the time I was 27. And so so here I am having had 4 children already and never masturbated. Never.
Dude, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but you seem like such a cool person that none of this ever happened to.
It absolutely.
You seem super normal, chill, fun to be around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Of course, yeah.
That means a lot to me. It's not been without a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah. And I think just even the fact that, I had to learn that I wasn't a slut, because the girls who sleep with all the guys before marriage are sluts. They're sluts. And it's a whole different standard if a guy is having sex with a bunch of girls and if a girl's having sex. I mean, once we get more than 1 or 2 penises in that vagina, we're not sure if it's going to be beneficial anymore, because now it's a little tainted. So
why didn't you guys just say okay, fuck you too? You know what I mean? Was that not in your vocabulary?
Oh God, no. If you don't do the things, you're going to hell.
And you believe that? You believe
absolutely.
You're going to go to hell?
Oh God, yes. You will not live in the celestial kingdom with God.
when these people were saying, so I'm assuming people have said some very nasty and like hurtful things towards you.
Oh yeah, but not just Mormons.
Okay.
Sometimes my own kids are being said the worst thing, but you know, we're all still growing.
It's like that sometimes. Yeah, no, for sure.
No, yes, I'm very fortunate. One of the things that I do think sexual abuse a gift that it did give me was intuition. I think it really heightened my sense of self, my sense of intuition, and one of the things, I'm hyper aware of my body. So, like hyper aware. I'm typically hyper aware of the space around me. I can usually hear several conversations going on at one time. So I think like one of my first memories of being sexually abused, when the abuse is happening, I am in kindergarten or first grade. I have like pink footy pajamas on, and I'm actually outside of my body watching myself be sexually abused. So that's called splitting. I think there's another term for it, but it's something the brain does when there's so much trauma, and it'll split. And I don't know if you talk to any other sex abuse survivors, but it's a pretty common thing that when people have a traumatic thing, they'll often remember it like they watched it, like they left their body and watched it. So once your brain kind of learns how, well, our bodies do that anyways. Like if you get super, super high, surely you felt yourself leave your body, like hanging out, floating around, like.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like you just, you get that elevated kind of sense, and our body makes endorphin. And endorphin is like, that's why women can have babies naturally, like, because their body just keeps making endorphin from the pain. So more endorphin, pain. So it's a similar kind of thing with trauma. Like you have enough trauma, you're going to have enough endorphin, which is going to make you high. It's going to make you elevate to the point where you block out what's happening. So imagine that and doing all of that, but no one teaching you that you have this amazing thing in your body that, especially females, I don't know if you know this, but a woman clitoris is the only organ made for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is to give a woman an orgasm. No other, like no other mammal has an organ that is only for sexual pleasure, except at the female clitoris. Let's think on that for a minute.
Dude, Ivy, you're really like showing up with just like this amazing story to tell, and like these side jokes and like these side stories and like all these great examples and analogies, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm at the movies right now.
Okay.
I really feel like I'm at the movies.
That's really sweet. Well, sometimes I wish it was a movie, but it's not. It's literally my life. So,
I feel bad that you guys had tunnel vision almost, is what it sounds like, on this one thought that if I disobey this order, I'm going to go to hell. I feel bummed that there wasn't another outlet for you guys to like even think like, hey, is what we're doing real?
Right.
Should we be doing something else right now? Like you're saying that wasn't an option. No one thought differently.
Oh no. And there are so many Mormon kids right now that live in Utah and outside of Utah. Like Utah's having a significant issue with the LGBT community. I don't know if I got LGBTQ. Is that right?
You mean the thing? You mean the amazing intent?
Yes.
I don't know if that's right.
I think that's right.
Probably.
But, so they're having a significant issue because they have a suicide rate that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, I mean, we know suicide is going up all over the nation, but I know at one point Utah had the highest rate of suicide in the nation, and the highest among males. And probably because most of them were 13, 14, touched their penis, and they never were able to forgive themselves for that. Maybe they never told anybody. Maybe the bishop gave them forgiveness, but they still just feel like they're a piece of shit because they touched their penis. Like, I'm not joking.
It almost sounds like, or okay, I'll say that in a second. But what do you're saying? The bishop saying, "Hey, are they actually giving them shit?"
Oh yeah.
Like, what are they saying?
Yeah, like sometimes you'll be put on probation.
What's probation?
Probation is where like you can't like take the Holy Sacrament for a couple weeks, and you have to like read a book. Like when I got pregnant with, and I was 14, and I'm sorry, can you edit that out? And
sure.
When I was pregnant with my first child.
Yeah.
I was told to read the book The Miracle of Forgiveness, and which is a book I think Spencer Kimball, one of the prophets of the church, wrote. Miracle of Forgiveness. You read that book and you pray, and you can be forgiven. And then I think I was put on probation for 3 months or something, and that was my punishment for getting pregnant with him. Nobody really like, hello there. There's a 14-year-old pregnant over here by an adult male. Yeah, none of that. You need to work on your forgiveness. You need to get yourself right with God.
Well, which one would they say to you?
Get yourself right with God.
And would they say it like that, like in that voice?
Yeah, well, probably. No, like, you can be forgiven for this. You can, Sister Green, this is a forgivable sin. You can be forgiven. Yeah, craziness.
So they're doing it in a
focused.
Nice way, it sounds like.
Oh, they're very like Mormons are very kind people.
Okay.
If you ever go to Utah, okay, I guarantee you'll be like, this is one of the nicest places I've ever been. And I've told you several times in our conversations, like, I don't want to be disparaging to my
What's up?
I don't want to be disparaging to my religion. Like, I don't
believe it's not your religion anymore.
Thank you. That was my my guardian angel.
Your conscience.
My guardian angel. No, let me rephrase that. The religion of my youth. I want to not be disparaging to that, because I think there's a lot of really cool things that come from that the Mormons do, and one of those is family. But also they do that to a fault and causes harm. They just really overdo a lot. But they're very kind people. Like, they really are. They're super kind. Kind of a little bit crazy. Don't do that.
Sorry. Going back outside now.
Dude, Ivy's has so much good stuff. That's like, she says,
match made in heaven. Are you kidding me?
This is crazy. This is honestly crazy.
Part 2, 3, 4. These are the days of our Ivies.
Oh my God. So the idea to so let's just I'm one of a million examples, okay? So again, I just want to bring out that, a non-Mormon living in California recognizes that there's a huge issue with suicide among Mormon teenagers and adolescents and adults, and actually all the way around. And it really hurts my heart. I can honestly tell you, I don't really remember a time in my life, even as a child, that I didn't somehow think about leaving the earth and being dead. Like,
you were thinking that a lot?
Yeah, as I just, I literally can, like, know, like, from the time I was, like little. I didn't have the cognitive ability to understand suicide, but it was absolutely a integral part of my being to not want to be in my body, not want to be on the earth, not want to be, just not want to be. And with no words really to express it. And that happens to a lot of Mormon children. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it goes through the DNA of the Mormon culture. Like, my mom is a victim. My grandmother is a victim. Like, my aunts, I don't want to expose everybody, but let's just say that it's, and the perpetrators are victims too in some ways when it's familial. Everybody's a victim of shaming sex.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
There's no way that's fun for like anybody.
No.
But I guess they do it. Like
religiously.
You did it.
Ha! I did do it.
You know what I mean?
I did do it. I even took it to a steroid level. There was a period of time from, I don't remember the dates, and I'm not going to correlate the dates, but there was a period of time, about 6 years, that I actually belonged to a polygamous group with my husband, and we left the Mormon church, went into the polygamous group. Yeah, no shit. Polygamy.
Say that last part again. You left the
Mormon church.
The Mormon church.
Went to the polygamous Mormon church. So these are the fundamentals. Like Christians, you have evangelical Christians and regular Christians.
I don't know
like
anything.
Jesus Camp, or like Bible bashers, like just heavy duty, like
Bible bashers.
There's a lot. We'll go back to polygamy is where you live in a relation, you have multiple wives, so that you can go to the celestial kingdom. So it's okay for a man to have multiple wives, multiple sex partners, but it's not okay for a woman to have multiple husbands or multiple partners. Like, here I am, 13, sitting in church, and we're getting a lesson on what do they call it? Purity. That's what it is. Chastity. Chastity is that's when you don't have sex. You're chaste. You're chastity. So you get that lecture on chastity. Don't have sex before you're married. And so they have these flowers, and they have these beautiful roses on one vase, and then they have these roses that are dead and dried over here. Okay? So then the teacher, the instructor, says to you, and if you make a decision, and pulls out the rose, and if you make a decision to have intercourse before marriage, takes her hand, crushes the rose, the dead one, and just drops it, and is like, that's you now. Basically, that's your vagina. You had sex with somebody, there's your dead vagina. Now, do you want to be this rose over here, or do you want to be this rose over here? Other ways that they did that is they would have a beautiful birthday cake, and then they just smash the shit out of it and be like, there, that's your vagina. They wouldn't exactly say vagina. They would just be like, that's who you are now. And I'm like 13, and I'm like, well, I think my vagina is already ruined since I was 5, and you're kind of fucked from the beginning. So don't have sex before marriage because you want to be a virgin for your husband, but you're not a virgin for this guy. And somehow when you're a child, you're supposed to figure that all out. And so nowadays, because I think information is more available, and I think suicide is more, we see more of it. I understand it. I get it. When I hear people that have lost someone to suicide having been a victim of suicidal ideation myself, up until 2010, is really when I stopped waking up every day wanting to kill myself. And that's a big shout out to my dear friend, who literally just came into this very house and saved my life. You know what she did? We went out drinking a lot, and we had an amazing good time.
Dude, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
She just really taught me how to live, and because of that beautiful relationship, I ended up meeting my partner Jeremy, and I have a really beautiful life now. But I I mean, like a beautiful life. Even, I've been really sick. I'll take it any day. But it has been a ton of work to overcome the damage that being Mormon did to me in my life, and the confusion. And they're, what is the statistic? 3 out of 4 Mormon girls are sexually molested. So can you just imagine how many girls are confused why it's okay for their dad or brothers or uncles that hold this high priesthood power, because the men have a priesthood power bestowed on them. So these men have this high priesthood power bestowed on them, but then they sexually violate them, make them the dirty dead rose, and it's not even their choice. They're just little. And the brain doesn't just think, oh, that's not my fault. I was just a child. So now I am pure, and now, even though I've been raped multiple times, for this husband, I am pure. I'll just put it right out there. I didn't get married in the temple. I did have sex before marriage, obviously. I actually had sex twice before I got married. I'd only been with one other partner, and then my kid's dad. That was it. 2. It's not that way anymore. I think it might be like 7 total my whole entire life. So, yeah, I was telling Mel, you can't, again, I know I've said it before, but you just can't talk about sex before marriage and why they don't, if you don't talk about what happens with it. And I don't even know how they could even change that culture. I mean, the thing is Mormons believe that their prophet talks to God in the Holy of Holies in their Mormon temples and gets direct revelation from God. So that's how, you had the Mormons at one time, they didn't allow blacks to hold the priesthood. Back in the 1800s, I don't even know all the stuff about that. I don't know why anybody would want to ever be a part of that. But so they when the equal rights movement kind of started to come along, they decided to go up and get some revelation that the blacks could now, that the black people could hold the priesthood, the Mormon priesthood, because black men were not allowed to be priesthood holders. And being a priesthood holder is very important in the Mormon church. Priesthood holder means you have these special powers for healing and invoking angels, and pretty much short of raising the dead, you can. It's a little tiny bit of God's power.
This kind of proves that you can brainwash people
Absolutely.
At such a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this, I bet you shit like this happened with like Nazis and Hitler and shit, same type of stuff. If you start people at a young enough age where they know very little about their role in the outside community, and you are their only influence, and they fucking wake up praying to you and shit, they can manipulate
Absolutely.
a whole
Absolutely.
group to do.
My father, one of my fathers, my stepfather, my father who raised me, one of his dearest friends we used to go and hang out with them, and they had this most beautiful home, and that guy, that dad, he was a bishop and he was a stake president. These are high positions in the Mormon church. If you're the bishop, you're the director of 200-300 people that are in your ward. You're the little mini god of that section, and then the stake is the little mini god of 6 different wards, and then it multi-level a little bit, and the prophet is the head, and he's the mouthpiece for God. So this dad, he had 8 beautiful daughters, and we used to play there all the time, and come to find out, once the daughters grew up, one of the daughters went and said, my dad started having sex with me when I was a small child, and had sex with me till I was old enough to tell him no. And every one of the daughters, the dad had been having sex with them. Every single one of them.
And the daughters, like,
finally came out.
brainwashed.
I believe that the I don't mean every single one. Retract that. I remember now. The older ones came out against their father to protect the younger 3, I think.
Oh, they were like, fuck this shit. This
Yeah,
ain't
because
right.
we're not having this happen. So, and I just could not believe, but it was really something for me as a child because I was being sexually violated as well. And so for me as a child, hearing that this particular friend of my father's, which we were very, very good friends, and we spent a lot of time with them, and I don't remember any issues going on with them, but I really looked up to them. They were rich, like they had money, so I really looked up to them. We were super poor, and I didn't think that what was happening to me would happen to those rich girls whose dad's so high up in the church. But yeah, absolutely. And I remember feeling like able to feel a little bit validated in my own brain that it happens to rich girls too. And so, you know, but can you just like imagine trying to be 13, 14, 15? Well, Jesus. I didn't even stop playing with dolls till I was 13 years old. Like, it's ridiculous. You just have babies. Like, you're just, a woman is to procreate. And I know on some level it's changing. And what I was trying to say about the priesthood is, why doesn't the prophet go up and talk to God and get some new revelation for modern times? People have evolved. Things are different. Kids need to be allowed to explore their bodies as a sexual gift. They should be encouraged to masturbate. They should, and get a revelation from God and could just come down and say, you did it with the priesthood and the black people. You can certainly do it with your youth and help them to live because they're killing themselves. So maybe you want to do something. Maybe you want to like get a revelation from your God that tells you to let these kids have some freedom with their body and let's remove the law of purity. Like, and it's not just Mormons. This goes clear to way back. Anyways, go ahead.
Is there only one vocal person who can talk to God in the Mormon religion?
Yes.
And there's one person?
Yes.
Who's like the president of the entire...
prophet.
Okay. Do you know who he is?
Oh, geez, let's see. Hey, Siri, who is the prophet of the Mormon church right now?
Okay, I found this on the web for who is the prophet of the Mormon church right now. Check it out.
Okay, let's see.
We like send this to him. He's like, these fuckers.
No,
bro,
I
we're
just
gonna come
can't.
kill you.
Oh,
Dude,
it looks...
you imagine, Ivy, could you imagine if the Mormons came after us?
They won't. No, they won't. Nobody will. Nobody
No,
will.
but like
No,
the higher up ones.
They won't.
No?
They won't. They're so used to this. This is... Okay, Russell Nilsson. That's the guy.
Russell Nilsson.
M. Nilsson. Yeah. He was an apostle when I was... An apostle is, Jesus and his apostles.
What's an apostle?
Right, exactly.
That
You know
guy
what I love about
probably-
you?
You think the current president has raped people? Probably.
Oh God, I don't even know. That's
That's
like
fucked.
blasphemous for
That's
you to even
fucked.
say that. Look, you can take the girl out of the church, but you can't take the church out of the girl. I'm all, oh my God, did he just blaspheme the Mormon prophet?
Wait, what's that mean? You can take the girl out of the church, but you
Can't take the church out of the girl. So I can leave Mormonism, but I can't get it to leave me completely.
Oh my!
Can't take the
ass.
church.
No, you already did.
No,
you already did.
Sometimes though, I make funeral potatoes. What I was going to make for you, that dinner I was going to make for you, I was going to treat you to a whole Mormon funeral spread, which is funeral potatoes, ham and rolls, Jello, some kind of Jello salad, and a green salad, and some kind of punchy thing. So I was going to make you a whole, like, you can Google Mormon funeral potatoes, and it's a thing.
Do you think the soul's out of your body and you just remember the recipe because it tasted so good, or do you think like you feel something? You feel like you feel the Mormons come back.
That's what they serve. They serve that. No, I don't feel the. I have layers of more. And ironically, like I'm just getting legally divorced from Miss who I've been married to for 33 years, and so Like, I never wanted to be a divorcee. Like, I never wanted that. That's just about as horrible as having sex before you're married. Although I think people recover from divorce. I don't know that Mormons recover from having had sex before they were married. But I think it is changing. So here's a cool thing. So my youngest two, and I made a choice to raise them without religion. So
the youngest
the
ones
two.
that were recently born.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of them. You grew up with one of them. We won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No religion.
Yeah. Shut up.
No religion. Yeah. No. So funny story about that one. Somebody asked him. I don't remember if it was. I think him and his friend went out one night over to his friend's girlfriend's house, and the dad was a pastor, and they knocked on the door, and I could be they knocked on the door, and they were having a Bible study, and they invited the friend and my son in, and they came in, and they I guess the dad asked my son, like, do you know who Jesus is? And he's like, yeah, he's that redheaded guy on South Park. That is hilarious that is not funny to you.
I haven't seen it.
South Park?
Dude, I have such a weird sense of humor, Ivy. It's like, people say like the funniest shit, but like I just won't like. And I haven't seen South Park. I don't know the redhead Jesus guy on South Park.
Okay, so
Maybe that's
some
why.
episode,
Okay.
and it's Jesus is in the episode, and it's redheaded. But my point was that has no idea. And he actually asked for a Bible because he just wanted to read the stories. Like I said his name. I didn't mean to say his name.
We can take all those names out, if not this entire like side part.
Okay. Anyhow.
Yeah.
So yeah, he like, I raised them with no religion. So I started, once I got out of that mentality, I started encouraging my kids to have sex. Like, just don't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Don't get pregnant. So that was I just don't, I think it has to be an individual choice. And I think, like, have you ever bought shoes sight unseen? Like, I'll just buy shoes. And have you ever bought a pair of shoes online?
Yeah.
And have they not fit?
If so, definitely not recently, because I've had good luck with stuff like that.
So, but imagine if you bought like a size too big and your feet just sloshed around.
Yeah.
Or a size too small and your feet were uncomfortable.
Like
it's
that.
the exact opposite of, obviously, a penis and a vagina. But, like, you kind of want to try them on first and see if you like them. So maybe you want to get a nice pair of black high heels, or you want, but you want to try on several different kinds to see what's going to be the most comfortable. And we try on shoes more than we try on a partner. Like, Mormons try on shoes. They'll take their kids out and try on different shoes for them. And now, kid, you get to wear this shoe for the next year of school. They make sure it fits so it's comfortable, and now you can wear that shoe for a year. But no, marriage, sex is, you have to not have sex with this person, and then you have to have sex on your honeymoon, and you have to find out that those shoes you got from Amazon do not fucking fit. And it doesn't matter how much you stretch them out. It doesn't matter how many socks you put in them. The shoes don't fit. And yet you still have to wear them for the rest of your life. Do you get my analogy?
I was gonna say, I was like, you're relating this to marriage. Right when you started saying the words like, oh, you're stuck with this one and shit, I'm like, dude, yeah.
No, I'm relating this to a penis and a vagina, and just not having...
Or just personality types.
You can't...
If you want to even,
Yeah, you can't know.
Can
You
I
just...
interject? It's not just this lifetime, it's freaking eternal.
Oh, yeah, because we talked about eternal marriage.
Fuck that.
Yeah, he's like, no, I don't want that. And And they're absolutely like homosexuality and lesbian, transgender, all of that stuff. That is not allowed.
You get like in serious trouble, huh?
Well, I think they're trying to be a little bit more compassionate now. Like for a minute there, I think in 2016, the Mormon Church came out and said that if your parents were homosexual or lesbian, or just gay, whatever, that you couldn't be baptized in the Mormon religion. If you had, but I don't know if they changed it or not. Somebody could comment and correct me on that. But that was that came out, that was all over the news that they made that statement. That came out at the same time that the child sexual abuse statistics were released. And I posted about the child sex statistics and nobody gave a shit, but everybody was up in arms about kids can't be baptized if their parents are gay. I'm like, you guys, these priorities are like, I absolutely think that's horrible. I think it's horrible, and I hope they reversed it. But yeah, I feel so bad for anybody who has been brainwashed in that religion. You see me try to catch myself. I'm brainwashed in that decision.
You're saying it's not brainwashing?
It is. It is.
No, yeah, for sure.
And you're forced. Parents you don't not be Mormon if you grow up in a Mormon home. You don't not be Mormon, You don't not be Mormon. That's not I've been really fortunate. I have 7 siblings from my mom and Chuck, Eric, Derek, Felice, Jody, Justin, 6 from my dad on my dad's side. And so of all those siblings, I only have one sibling that still practices Mormonism.
Want to know what I've noticed?
Yeah.
If you're in situations where you are doing absolutely nothing wrong, like you just know you are doing nothing wrong, and like other smart people would also agree you're doing nothing wrong. When you're in a thing like that, and there's all these external forces that are trying to make you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're doing nothing wrong at all, that's when you need to get the hell out of that situation.
Right.
Because these people are affecting me so negatively. How am I ever going to grow, live the life I want to live, and be the person I want to be? You gotta fulfill your destiny. And if all these people are preventing you from doing that, my whole question this whole time is, why don't you just get the fuck out of there and say screw you to these people? But you explained this entire story and said, no, they can't do that because you are going to go to hell. Mm-hmm. And in their belief system, they feel like they're going to go to fucking hell. Yeah. And their life is over. Yeah. That's just so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's absolutely
That's crazy. It is sad. It really is sad.
And when I initially left the religion, I left because I made a choice that I would rather die and go to hell and deal with it at the time that happens than to stay beholden to the situation. And I absolutely didn't want it for my kids. So, do you want another one?
I think I'm chilling.
Okay.
I think I'm chilling.
Me too.
Thank you though.
Yeah, no, I just, I did not want that for my kids. But it's taken me generations. Here's the really cool thing. That little picture over there, that's my mom. My mom, you can put that right here.
I can. Whoa, this looks fucking crazy. Right. What is this?
This is our cheese plate. This is what I have to live with. Oh my God. I already did it today. This is what I have to live with. Look at what I have to live with.
This looks like a 5-course buffet.
I know.
Oh my God, look how saucy it is.
I know, he does shit like this all the time.
Oh shit.
He's the best thing in the world.
Dang.
Mr. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, I think it's changing. I think parents are waking up to the reality that if they keep insisting on the teachings as they are, that their children are going to kill themselves. And they are.
Why doesn't the head guy that you were talking about earlier, the person you Google search, like the leader of all of this, why doesn't he go and talk to the gods?
Dude, we totally just had that conversation.
Do you think he has tried or no?
Wait.
Do you think he's gone and talked?
Wait. I might die from laughter right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. What were you laughing at? What were you laughing at?
You're so serious about it. You're like, hasn't this head guy, like, why doesn't he go and try to talk to God? And I'm like, he's not really talking to him. He's not really talking to him.
Don't they all believe it?
They believe it. They do, right? But do you believe in God?
Do I believe in God?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I know, right?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, to be honest, yeah, probably.
Okay, but if I said to you, Lazer, I talk to God, do you believe that? And he told me to tell you that you need to marry my daughter.
I don't believe in shit like that.
Okay.
I don't believe in shit like
Okay,
that. But
so
if
no.
you're like, yeah, is there a God? Potentially, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like that,
I
that
agree.
makes sense. But
I agree.
if this God is literally telling me, yo, you are not allowed to fuck, like, dude, you have, like, dude,
That's
it's
not
your
your
body.
God.
It's your body.
Uh-huh.
You gotta be able to, like, feed your soul and your, you know?
Well, here's another thing that happened. And I don't want to overshare or make you uncomfortable. I know I'm...
Dude, you're killing this. No, you're good.
Okay, well,
You're,
I feel like a mom to you, so just... Like, you're the age of my youngest baby. I feel like a mom to you. And a co-equal. I don't like mom, not mom, but you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
As far as talking about sex, under that context, I want to be really appropriate because that's how I am. So when I totally forgot what I was going to say. What were you talking about?
I was gonna ask you if all of these people believe in the God and he's actually talking to God, why doesn't he talk to God and try and get the rule changed so he can like spread the message and be like, hey guys, like God changed his mind, sex is okay, we're gonna start teaching you guys all the stuff you need to know, and we're gonna like totally change this entire program and like still be happy and follow religion to a certain extent, but we're gonna do this differently. Because earlier you said they started accepting black people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do the same thing with the
Well,
with
that's
the
what
new
that's what I was
problem.
saying. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like,
They have cell phones, right? They have to.
oh yeah, they're not Amish. They're very
The Amish.
actually the Mormon Church.
You want me to grab this?
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god,
Oh my god, dude.
this is ridiculous. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. No, that's the shit that adds 10 pounds.
The egg.
All of it. All of it. So that's what I was saying before. Like, I don't understand why they have the ability to change it. But they actually, like, God would never say that because their God would never say that. Because that's that, and it's not just their God. Like, that's all Christianity and even, like, Islam. Like, you're talking about, you're going into a space of, you know, this is really what this is about, is female oppression. Like, it's very much about female oppression.
And they want to keep it like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Dude, maybe you can send this video. Maybe we can send this video to like Utah State and like they
We
play
should.
it somehow.
We should.
Dude, can you imagine that they release 15 minutes of this video every other Thursday? It's like a little like 8 episode like 2
You're
hour
actually
thing.
doing a really cool thing. You don't even realize that, like, somebody Mormon like myself and maybe younger or even older could stumble upon this. Like, if you put like the hashtags and things in, I don't know. I'm so like not computer literate, but Like, they could stumble on this. Like, this kind of shit, talking about this and being open about it and accepting it, like, it can save lives. It can literally save lives.
For real, though.
Yeah.
Just hearing somebody else talk about it. And the thing is, this fits you. I couldn't have done this with anybody else. It had to be you. It really did have to be you. You're the only person that could do this, for real.
To answer the question why Mormons believe in no sex before marriage.
Or just no, like, the thing is, you're providing a ton of, like, content and, like, just a really, like, jam-packed episode with just so much, like, crazy topics you're talking about.
I hope that's okay.
You are the perfect person to make that happen.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
I want to help people.
You have the story, you have the experience, you have the, you went through it.
I did. I've honestly lived a very charmed life when you really look at it. I hope I'm using that term. I feel, ow, kitty, no, rude. I feel like for the amount of things that have happened to me and for the hand that I have been dealt, I very much believe that I have been given a lot of grace. And I don't mean that like, I feel very thankful because I could have turned out a whole lot more I could have been more unable to move through some of the experiences, and I could have been left with some real tragic outcomes, and statistically I should have been, but I absolutely am so thankful that my kids, we got it early enough, at least I hope, that they knew, like, I don't want to, like, throw anybody under the bus, but I only have one married child, 2 married children, and neither of them, I don't think, were virgins when they got married. So I think I did a good job. I mean, it's silly to think that these are goals, but to me, those are goals.
Do all of your children know each other?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you guys stayed connected, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, we and I we pretty much had the intention to, like I said, remain married. I married him when I was 15. He was 25 years old. He's older than me, so his health has not been well, and so we had an open marriage. And once we kind of pretty much got the kids raised, we knew that we weren't, like, quite doing it for each other, and we had been swingers in the past. And I don't care if you put this out, like, we had dabbled in that for like a year. I'm just gonna put this out there. I would never choose swinging for a relationship again. I would never do that. It's not for me. I did learn that through my relationship with my current partner, but Chris had a partner, I had a partner. And then me and my partner were gonna take care of as his health kind of deteriorated. So my family, we have always been together, but it's really kind of cool. This divorce has really allowed me at least to take a look back on really how traumatic it has been for me to be married since I was 15.
Just seems like a lot of shit. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how you went through all of that. Like, how did you have time for yourself to do shit?
I didn't.
Are you guys going in public schools during this whole time or no?
I didn't. No.
That's like, are they providing an education?
No, the Mormon Church does not provide an education curriculum, but
can go. So the children are in public schools getting exposure.
When the time that I was in a polygamy group, I homeschooled my kids for 6 years. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, not how I did it.
I'm surprised no one at school just doesn't go, yo, dude, like, this is all bullshit.
No, not in Utah. It's like almost all Mormon.
Utah?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's almost all Mormon. Oh, dude, yeah.
Okay, what about
Yeah.
what about the 10% of people that aren't?
Oh, I don't think there's 10% that aren't.
5%?
Maybe.
Why don't they say, hey guys, like, something else is going on? No?
No, they're lucky to be able to have a sleepover from time to time. Mormons are afraid of people who aren't Mormon. Like, if you're not Mormon, you're not going to heaven.
Fuck.
No, you're not going to heaven. They have 3 kingdoms. Celestial. Celestial is the highest kingdom you can go to when you die. So, and hell.
Do you ever think there's, like... Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in aliens?
I don't know that they're alien. I mean, alien to our planet. Do I believe there are other life forms elsewhere? Yes, I do.
Do you think other life forms or, like, some sort of alien being has ever visited here, like, a super long time ago and was like, hey, like,
Probably.
I'm not accepted into my community back home. I'm going to make this thing over here and I'm going to call it, like, being a Mormon. You know what I mean? And, like, because the thing, this almost sounds like a big, like, game almost.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
if you research, so I took a world religions class when I moved from Utah to California in 2007, I think in 2008, world religions, and it was my first exposure to religion outside of Mormonism. Okay, I'd already left the Mormon Church, but this was my first exposure to it, and so this first exposure, I'm waiting, I'm reading, I'm doing my studies, and I'm waiting for the chapter, okay, I'm going to say it again, I'm waiting for the chapter on Mormonism, because we're studying ancient cultures and Islam and Catholicism and Christianity. And so I, like, just one night flip ahead and think, I'm going to look up when do we get to Mormonism? And there's literally 4 sentences. It's in like a sub-chapter of a bunch of religions that don't, little this and that's. And there's literally 4 sentences about Mormonism. Now, I have moved from Utah to California. I've lived in Utah my whole life, pretty much. A little stint in Vegas, but a little stint here in California, but mostly Utah. So I have moved, me and 5 of the kids, and I've been out of the Mormon Church for a couple years, and I'm like, hold on. 4 sentences about Mormonism? 4. In my college religions class. Hold the fuck on. So here's the thing. Studying Islam, I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like what happened to Joseph Smith. Because Allah, Muhammad was, and forgive me, I don't completely understand, but there was a revelation and from spiritual beings, and there was a book that was supposed to be written, the Quran. Joseph Smith said he was told to write a book, the Book of Mormon. Anyways, there's multiple similarities between the Muslim religion and the Mormon religion. Like from a garment to a sacred stone to like just everything. Same. Islam came way before Mormonism, all right? This is while Obama is running for president. And I'm getting emails from my family that are like, Obama is a Muslim, Obama is a Muslim. I'm like, dude. So my final thesis in my religions class, we had to do a compare and contrast. So I just decided I would Google similarities between Mormons and Muslims. Little did I know I'd have millions and millions of hits, papers written, scientific papers written. So I did my report. It was phenomenal. The professor said it was amazing. I got extra credit on it. I already had an A+, but I just got extra credit anyways because I'm really smart. But like literally, that is the first time in my life, 2008, that I said to myself, and I literally can remember sitting at the desk, and I just went, oh my God, it isn't true. Like, it's not true. It's not true. And I literally can remember the moment and just being like, Joseph Smith took all of this from the Muslim religion. The whole story of it is what happened in the Muslim story. It's like the same. And I never knew, Lazer. I never had any idea. And up until that point in 2008, I believed that Mormon was the right religion. All that I had done in my life, I would go to hell. But I had one therapist who was a Mormon bishop tell me in about 2004, I think, you should leave the Mormon church. You will never be at peace there. Too much shame. Like, you should leave. And I did. I also got my first tattoo. So that bishop, like, did me a great service, and I will be forever grateful. But up until 2008, I was still holding shame for myself for all the shit. And I mean, I still do in certain elements, but I was still holding it. And I was just like, and then I started on the crusade with my family, like, I'm sorry, but it's not true. And then I researched the shit out of things, and it just isn't true.
So wait, was the turning... So you wrote that essay while you were a Mormon?
Mm-hmm.
At what age was this?
Well, the 2008.
Okay.
So just like 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20,
So
13 years ago.
you wrote it after the lady was like, yo, like, leave the Mormon church. There's too much shame.
It was actually a man.
It was a man.
Mm-hmm. I prefer male therapists.
Why?
Probably because my dad left my mom when I was 3 months pregnant. And, well, no, my dad left my mom while I was in my mom's belly. She was only 3 months pregnant with me when my dad left her, so I didn't grow up with my dad. I did grow up with a stepfather from the age 2. Like, he's the only father I remember. But I think I probably gravitate to male therapists, kind of like daddy issues. Which lots of Mormon girls have daddy issues. You know that, right?
Honestly, no. No, I mean, I don't know anything about this.
Have you ever had sex with him?
With a Mormon?
With a Jack Mormon?
I don't think so. I don't think they're supposed to be having
They're crazy.
sex.
They're crazy. Mormon women are dirty.
Because they're
what's the word?
they're horny as fuck.
Yeah.
They have a ton of like pent up shit, is what you're saying.
Well, they got to keep it exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
To keep their man faithful.
That makes sense because I heard a story, and I knew this one person that was Mormon, and then somebody was like, "Oh, like this person did some crazy, not crazy, like there was, yeah." I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Kinky.
Yeah.
Kinky shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or just like wanted to have sex. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have sex.
You're like
it's good for you.
releasing a demon. You're just like, oh. Yeah, I think. Well, and I think masturbation is super important. I think kids need to be. We teach kids how to wipe their ass. We teach kids how to brush their teeth. And we teach kids how to shave their legs. We teach kids how to put in a tampon. Telling girls all the time, telling your sons wear a condom. But we don't sit down and say, hey, you have this really cool stress relieving mechanism in your body. And my thing was just like, as long as your grades are good and you're getting to work on time, you can touch it as much as you want. I mean, go to town. Like, seriously. Like, if your grades are slipping, you might be doing it too often. I don't know.
What was your... what was...
You can eat this orange, by the way. It's so good.
Is it fire?
Yeah, it's so good. It's now bourbon soaked.
You eat like the skin and shit too? Are you serious? What? Wait, where'd you get this orange from?
I like to say I make it myself, but Trader Joe's.
Oh, okay.
$1.99. They're beautiful in a cocktail. You're gonna love this.
Dang, okay.
You're like, no, you're not. Yeah, you are.
You want me to eat the skin on this? All right.
Just do it. He'll thank me later. Weird, huh?
I don't think I'm gonna swallow it.
Oh.
But I'll munch on it for a second. I'll eat some more.
It's really good for you. It has lots of vitamins in it. You should swallow it. You know what they say. So ask me more questions.
So do you see a problem here? Like, is there like something at stake? How do you fix it?
Yeah, people's lives.
How do you fix it then?
Well, you can't, and here's why. If I put it there, it never happened.
That cherry, it tastes phenomenal.
That's really good, huh?
Does. It really does.
Yeah. You can't fix it because we have the right to... Okay, let me start here. The only way we fix this is through education. That is the only way. Through... Actually, just like through science. And I know science is a big buzzword these days, but the only way you fix it is through technology also, not just, but education. Technology will do it. You can get information out fast. Kids are able to Google masturbation now, and yeah, they can see a lot of really bad stuff, but it's an individual thing that a parent does to a child, and you have like 0 to 8 years to really shape a child, and then 8 to 18 to really teach them adult behaviors and, what's socially held acceptable behavior, because cultures decide things. What's socially acceptable, like our work environment. What's socially acceptable at our work environment compared to what's socially acceptable at, say a 5-star restaurant is going to be vastly different because it's different. So these socially cultural held beliefs in the whole world, the whole entire world has their knee on the neck of the female. Like, it doesn't really matter where you go. Women are oppressed everywhere. Little girls are oppressed. Teenage girls are oppressed. And here's the flip side to that, too. Adult males are revered as being the cause of it. And so it also then it becomes difficult for a man to be a male. And I know we don't really, I understand there's like some value of culturally getting away from gender, but sticking with science. Like, science says you have 2 ovaries and a vagina. That's a female assigned sex at birth. You can have a male assigned sex at birth. But as long as we don't have gender equality, one or the other is going to continue to be oppressed. Don't you think that there are stereotypes for men? Like, men want to have sex all the time. That's all men ever think about is sex. That's not true. Wait. You know what I mean?
You I understood.
Okay.
You lost me at the last part a little
Okay.
bit. But again, like I'm not, yeah.
There's you asked me how to fix it. And
You're saying education. You have to educate people.
Well, not just education, but you have to change a whole mentality.
Yeah.
You have to change an entire mentality of people. And I don't think you will. But I don't know. I invested in crypto and I never thought I would either. So some things can happen.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how you change it. I don't know how you fix it. I know it needs attention though. And I know that the sexual revolution, which I don't know a ton about because I was super Mormon through all that, and young. Hang on, I'm having a bite of this.
Like all of these problems, they're huge problems, and it's just another one of those problems on Earth that it's probably not going to get fixed anytime soon, and there's going to be a lot more. And this is such a negative like way of like saying it, I guess, you know what I mean? But pretty much what I'm saying, this isn't going to just change overnight. Who knows, even if that in our lifetimes, you know what I mean?
Well, you're still having like, there was just that the situation, like until like sex is normalized, like a normal human function, like until we can get kind of more primal about that and less religious, I think, we're gonna have an issue. But do you know what I mean when I say more primal? Like more like animals. Like there's so few animals that have just one partner for life. There's like penguins mate for life, and I don't know, but like most mammals don't mate for life. Like, and who decided that humans mate for life? Who decided that?
True.
Who decided that a man and a woman need to be, so much of the animal kingdom, the mom has the babies, the dad leaves, the mom raises them and sends them on their way to be tough, and they go do the circle of life. Like if we take it to a primal level, like an animalistic kind of level, like we're not animals, I get that, we're humans, but we could probably afford to behave a little bit more like animals.
The main guy in charge of the whole operation, and I feel like this question didn't really get answered, but
Okay.
You thought it was super funny, but
no, I still do.
The
Say it again.
main guy,
The prophet.
the prophets, would he say he can talk to God? Would he say, yes, I'm talking and listening to God?
Well, yes, if he makes a revelation, like they haven't made a revelation. They have a book, The Doctrine and Covenants, and it has sections, and these sections in the Doctrine and Covenants are revelations from God. And Joseph's written in it, and several. So these are revelations, the D&C revelations.
Would the prophet say, I'm talking to God right now?
Yeah,
he would say that.
When,
so he's
when they
hearing
do
something.
a revelation, yes, that's what he says, that he gets it from God.
Is he actually hearing something, or is he just saying he is hearing something?
Well, I think, that's debatable.
What do you think deep down?
Well, I think there's a component of mental illness there. If you think that God is talking to you and telling you how to dictate the choices and course for someone else's life, I would think you might have a little bit of mental illness. Like, and I know that Mormons don't really want to understand that, but I know it's not a popular opinion, but I think that there's a fine line between worship and mental illness. Like,
So he might be mentally ill and like
Possibly.
saying
He
and
thinks that God called him to be the prophet of the whole entire world. Mormons don't think they're just the prophet of their members. He thinks he's the prophet of the whole entire world. And that everyone should be Mormon. That's why Mormons have missionaries, and they go out and they proselyte and they teach and bring more Mormons into the church because they think the whole world should be Mormon. And that when Jesus Christ comes back to earth, that the wicked are going to they're going to perish.
Oh, there's supposed to be like a
revelation.
And they come and then like we all die except for the ones who believed or something.
Yeah, similar to
that'd be fucking
Jehovah's
horrible.
Witness and the rapture and different. Like Mormons don't even cremate their bodies when they die because they believe that they're gonna have their body in heaven.
Oh, so they just get buried?
So
Okay.
that when the resurrection comes, their spirit can go back in that body. And you wonder why people who write zombie movies. You wonder where these ideas come from. Zombie movies.
You're saying zombie
Yeah.
movies come from Mormons?
Yeah, probably.
No, really?
Yeah, I bet they do.
I feel like
bet they
I
do.
feel like zombies and Mormon bodies are unrelated.
Well, no, because Mormons think you bury the body and then your spirit's going to enter the body, and they think you need to have your body. It was just up until recently that cremation was like not like sinful. Like I don't know how long it's been, but like my dad was cremated and he was Mormon, and so all of a sudden, because they're like, if you're ashes, your whole body can't come back together. I know you think I'm talking nonsense. I'm just speaking. I'm telling you, this is shit. This is like, come on. You don't even talk about wearing like undergarments either. You know about that, right?
Wait, what happened with the undergarments?
No.
Are they long?
Yeah.
Did you go from wrist down to ankle?
They did. In the olden days, they did. But then the guy, remember we talked about the prophet, and he gets direction from God. So he got direction from God that the garment could come up to here now and not clear down to here, and could come up to here to be more in keeping with modern times. God said so. But God can't come down and say, hey, rule game changer here. Sex before marriage is fine. Because Mormons, the other thing they say is God's the same today, tomorrow, and forever. So it gets a little bit dicey there.
Dude, so you are right. The leaders of this whole time, this all could have been mentally unstable people just saying, hey, like I want to make a cult, I want to make a religion and have people follow my direction. And it probably just transferred down throughout the years, and like whenever a revelation happens,
Yeah.
they're like, it's because so many people are going to this one leader begging him, please, like we're all getting like, we need to like shorter shit, like we can't like offend all these black people anymore and stuff. And then finally the mentally unstable person is like, fine, like fuck you guys, and then like go talk to God, get the message, and then come back and like make them happy.
But the
like,
Mormon Church is a corporation. They're one of the wealthiest corporations in the world.
What about at the beginning of this?
Well, somebody had.
You know what I mean?
Somebody who was a charlatan had a great idea.
Like anybody could have just said, hey, listen, like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like people definitely, it's like wildfire, when you have,
Okay.
when you're trying to manipulate someone 500 years ago.
I mean, I'm going to offend a lot of people by saying this, but I don't think a lot of people can compartmentalize and see it more than just one side of a picture, but I actually can do that. So the Trump movement, you saw how that just grew and grew and grew. And nothing to do with the politics of it, but that mass movement grew, and we are to some degree being brainwashed a little bit by our media. Like,
yeah, fuck yeah.
It just, and I don't care if you're CNN, Fox, or MSNBC, or like, it's all the Wizard of Oz and who's behind the curtain.
And it's funny
Like-
because some of the people that like run it somewhere on the chain of commands, they're like, no, like this is real deal, like this is real deal. But no, like in reality, they're just part of like the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're part of a gear that has no idea that it's being spun.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And same with Mormonism. Somebody doesn't have... See, because Mormons donate 10% of their income to the church.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so you'd be giving 10% of your check to the... You pay that every... Yeah, you pay that.
Do they have taxes?
The Mormon church, I think they are tax exempt. But I think that's true.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think they're tax exempt.
Dude,
Because they're a not-for-profit. Although they have billions. There was some kind of scandal that came out that somebody ratted them out and said that they had like billions and billions of dollars in assets and cash on hand, and we have a horrible homeless population, but neither Jeff Bezos or the Mormon Church or Mark Cuban or Bill Gates can just... Like, there is no reason this country we should have any homeless people. At all. At all.
true. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's-
No.
I think their biggest issue is probably figuring out like a way to do it. You know what I mean? Like no, like the people making the decisions are not smart enough to make like a realistic like dope thing happen. You know what I mean? They're
they
just
can't-
they're so out of touch with it because they live in like a different like world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, and I think the revelation you might see come out, there's a Mormon church, they're losing members every year. They're losing more than they're gaining.
That's good.
Yeah, it is.
No,
It is
that's
good.
really good.
But the revelation is not going to be about accepting gays into the religion and allowing for premarital sex. It'll be about tithing's got to be 15% now instead of 10.
For donating.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be. We had a revelation from God. You have to pay 15% in tithing now instead of 10%. They won't really do that.
How the Mormon so wait, a religion can be a corporation?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. A charitable corporation. I think it's a CO3P1 or CO13P or C3PO. No, that's it's something like that. CO13P or something.
And
yeah,
those-
and you're tax exempt.
It sounds like one big family is super rich, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
I think they're bullshitting. Then they don't believe in all the rules and the
Well,
laws. You know,
There's a rumor.
there's no way.
There's a rumor going around about Mitt Romney, and I like Mitt Romney, but he said he's never drank alcohol before, but there's some people who are like, no, dude, I did drink alcohol with you. Like, you're lying. So, like,
Is
they
he
lie.
lying?
They lie. I have a friend who lives up in San Francisco, and one of the apostles used to come and stay at their home, and she used to peek and watch them drink whiskey, and he was, like, big in the Mormon church.
So they don't actually believe in this.
I mean, I think they do, but
It almost seems like the ones lower down that aren't making money and all the benefits off of all the other people's taxes, it seems like the people like lower down believe the hardest, and then the people higher up, they're like drinking alcohol, partying, like fucking whoever, and just like
Well,
making billions.
you know,
each
it's
year.
that same.
Is that possible? It's
Oh,
gotta be.
heck yes.
It's gotta be.
Oh my gosh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then just
They have
hoping
all
they don't
these-
get caught.
They have all these people believing stuff.
Do you know how many marriages there have been in the Mormon church of men and women who were homosexual, and they got married and had a family because that's what they were supposed to do, and they could never pay attention to those inclinations, and now that there's a movement, you know, to come out, and just in the last like decade, these people have been able to come to a more honest place about who they are, and like, it's really sad, Lazer. It's really sad.
Damn.
You know, it's really sad. And if you're like a young child, you know, between 13 and 18, and you're trying to decide your sexuality, you can't even try it out to try to figure it out. You don't even get to practice, you know? And how can you decide if you're attracted to men or women? You make out with a man. If you're a girl, and are you turned on because it's what's happening, or are you turned on because you're doing something you've been taught your whole life you shouldn't do? And then if you're doing it with a girl and you're a girl, are you, you know, same question. Are you doing it because it's natural in you, or are you feeling that because it's something you've been told not to do? And so it can become very, very confusing. In God, these young kids who have to come out to their family and tell them, like, I'm gay, my heart like breaks for them. It just breaks for them. Most of them haven't even, like, I think you should probably have to sleep with 5 men and 5 women, and then you can decide what, you know. But how can you decide when you have had no sexuality? I mean, I guess you know innately, like, I know I'm attracted to men. I also find the female body attractive, but I'm definitely just attracted to men. So maybe you just know, but.
Or just let people do what they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
Without there being some like unnecessary regret from
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like the Amish, you know, they send their people out for some kind of thing. They get to go for a couple years and be crazy.
I was laughing super hard earlier because we were talking about zombies, and I was like, we filmed a zombie movie.
Are you serious?
Well, it's like 10 minutes. It's a short film. It's a short film.
Who's we?
Me and some of my friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like a comedy, but I don't know if you would. I don't know if you would laugh. You know what I mean?
I probably would. I told
Okay.
you I have been exposed to film for many years. I have my kids are very artsy.
Well,
Very artsy.
when you watch this, when you're like listening to this conversation right now,
You'll crack
just
up?
remember. Well, no, I was gonna say remembered. What it's called? It's on my YouTube channel. It's called a zombie juice.
Oh my
So if you
God.
watch it, it's there. This like
That's gonna
moment
be funny.
reminds you of something.
Okay. I'm gonna totally watch it tonight.
But I was gonna say, are you down to go for like a solid like 10 more minutes?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Because
for
we're
getting close,
it's- If we're
I feel bad. I just
No.
keep talking and
No,
talking.
no,
Well,
no,
I don't
you're
feel
killing
bad.
it.
I don't really feel bad. I just I hope it's making sense because I'm feeling pretty
Dude,
chill.
you're killing this thing so hard.
Do you have any other questions? Like,
I was gonna say, if you kind of walk us, like, the thing is, like, you started us off and then you walked us through like gates and just like shown us all the light and just like you took us everywhere, and then you said no, like, we're gonna go higher.
Yeah.
You literally lifted us higher and like started taking us back down now, and like kind of like closing it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like, hey guys, like,
that's
it's been
kind of
a
cool
fun
because I can
ride.
feel that too.
I feel like, yeah, I know this has been
there's
literally a roller coaster.
I hope you do really. It's kind of funny to think about that. It's actually a really serious thing that religion doesn't allow you to experience love before you go into a lifelong commitment. You know?
This whole time, I almost thought everything you just said tonight, I almost thought that was like not real anymore. Like, I didn't know people actually practiced it to that extent. You know what I mean? The only thing that I knew about this going into Mormonism is waiting until marriage to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that there was like these gods and these prophets and like the Mormon organization taking tax money from all these people, and they're like $1 billion company and stuff. Like you explained like the politics and like all these other crazy random facts that I had no fucking idea.
I mean, it's with, you're gonna find that in any religion. So again, I told you before, you know, it's not my intention to. I have a lot of very close Mormon friends, and I absolutely respect their choice to engage in the belief system. I just could not do that, and I'm super grateful that my kids don't. That I was able to raise them outside of it, and I really can see it in my 2 youngest kids. You remind me a lot of my 2 youngest kids, because you are the same. Like, it's so cute and I don't mean cute, but like, it's really cute to talk to you and see you have this innocence about you when it comes to religion. And I think that's a really special thing to have.
I'm glad I have it.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's ignorance is bliss, right? And that's just showing kind of it being beneficial in a way.
I'm
not stressing about all
I mean,
this
you
stuff.
are ignorant, but I personally like the term to describe it. I like that you are innocent. That's so much more descriptive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ignorant is implying, well, you don't know. Well, obviously you don't know. But from what I'm saying is, you and my 2 youngest children, you guys have an innocence about you that you haven't been sullied by religion. You guys are unsullied. No, you haven't been. You know what sullied means, right? Like dirtied. Like polluted.
I was going to say, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
So is it called the Unsullied?
Yeah, the unsullied, they don't ever have sex.
Okay.
They don't get sullied. You're sullied if you have sex. Dirty.
And they like cut off their shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're unsullied. They've never
Unsullied.
They've never had sex. But like, so they're innocent of that. They can't know, you know? So my thing with you and those kids is like, I had my one child had asked me one time, she's quite a bit older, and she's like, gosh, Mom, what is a sin? Like, I hear people talking about it all the time. And I'm like, it's nothing that you have to concern yourself with, because it doesn't apply to you. You are not going to sin because no one's going to judge you. You can choose effective behavior, you can choose not effective behavior, and suffer the consequences, but we're not going to be calling it sin. Like, it's just, we don't have sin, and we don't have it. And I don't. She had said, one girl had said to her, like, don't you want to be saved by, you know? And she's like, saved from what? Like, inviting her to Bible study, and she's like, aren't you worried about being saved? And she's like, saved from what? And she doesn't have that thought that she needs to be saved by some religious, like, she doesn't have it. And I think our culture is really afraid that we have a whole generation of people coming up that haven't had religion forced on them, and they're independent thinkers, and you're one of those. And your podcast is cool because it allows for independent thinking without a religious bias, and it's really cool.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. We can talk about anything. We can talk about, I'll come on anytime, but I definitely think you should do the other person we were talking about. You should. Notable people of SLO.
Is that a funny like name?
No, I fucking I feel bad. I'm like a lady on the streets and a freak in the bed. I don't mean it that way. I mean, I'm so proper and polite out and about, but I say fuck, and that's what I was just singing right now. And I say fuck on camera, but you know.
Well, just because you say a cuss word doesn't mean you're not impolite. You know what I mean?
But I'm a mom.
You
know. have a reputation to uphold. No, I don't.
Do you have a reputation in this community? Like, do you know like other moms and stuff?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I do. I have a reputation at like the Siren and lots of restaurants around town because my kids all work food service or have. No, I definitely remember moving here one time and somebody said, well, the first time we moved here and we were having coffee and I was talking to Chris about the kids and she's like, are you that woman that just moved here with 7 kids? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, I heard about you. I was like, wait, what? That's when I first moved here.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was told at Morro Bay High School that I was like the second biggest family, had the second most kids of people who came through the high school. But pretty cute. No, I'm glad my kids are raised and done.
She almost was making it kind of sound like an insult. She was like, yeah, like I want you to know what I'm saying.
I know. Well, talk to me in 10 years. Like, you know, it's been a long haul. Like you just, I hope if anybody sees this, it can help any young Mormon know that there's life after Mormonism, and what you say is so true. I love that your outlook is on peace and living your best life. That's not selfish. It's if we could all do that and live our best lives, everything would elevate.
I say we end on that note. I appreciate you coming on and putting on one hell of a show.
Thank you.
Ivy, thank you. You guys heard it from Ivy.
Yay!
That was awesome. You honestly killed that. Like,
Are you serious?
yeah,
I don't feel.
That was some next level